Hello, everybody. Jesse Garcia, Realty of America.
And Lisa-Marie Franco-Garcia.
Awesome. Today's topic, we're going to talk about 5 questions you can ask a listing agent before considering and writing an offer for your buyer. So one of the first questions that I like to ask is, if the listing agent actually answers their phone. As you know, a lot of listing agents don't like to answer their phone. But if you're able to get them on the line, one of the questions I like to ask is, hey, listen, Erica, we're here. We just showed your property, 123 West Main Street. Thank you for allowing us to show, compliment. My buyer is really interested in potentially writing an offer, but we just trying to get some context. What's your seller's story? Why is the house even on the market? The reason why I think that's a great question to ask is it kind of tells you the urgency or maybe the reasons why the seller is even considering selling. And, they might be relocating or going through a divorce. Sometimes they mention that, sometimes they don't even talk about that at all. Or, like downsizing. And it just kind of gives us an idea of like the urgency or maybe any distress situations that the seller might be up against if any of that stuff is kind of put out there. But it just I feel like it kind of gives us an idea on how to come in with our offer. Do we come in fast? Do we, kind of work with them? Do we come in strong? I mean, why do you think that's a good question to ask?
Well, exactly what you said. It gives context to the buyer. It gives you as an agent a great idea of how to advise, how to strategize your offer, because it's all about strategy. It's all about how you can make the best offer for your buyer so that your buyer can win. Knowing if the seller needs to move out or if they need, post-occupancy, all of those things. Once you have all of those details figured out, post-occupancy, if they have to, close right away because maybe they're going to be closing in 20 days, maybe your buyer can close in 20 days versus you usually writing an offer for 30 days. So, or, knowing if they have to sell to buy, all those kind of little details can help make your offer that much stronger than the other buyer's offer or any other buyer's offer. So standing out, knowing those details can definitely help you, be in the winning,
Absolutely. Another second question that's great to ask is sometimes these properties are rented out. They might own the property, but they're rented out to a tenant. So you're going to want to, a lot of states, leases follow the sale of the property. So you're going to want to ask, are there any tenants in place? Sometimes it's not owner occupied, it's tenant occupied. So ask them, what are the current leases? And if so, how long are the leases? Are the tenants paying rent on time if it is being rented?
Is it going to make sense for your buyer to buy, if they have a full year lease? Maybe they have to buy and owner occupy.
Yep.
Maybe their purchase is so that they can owner occupy, but the property is rented. And if their lease is for 11 months, maybe that's not going to work with their
Some loan programs require them to actually physically move in within a certain amount of time.
Right.
After securing the loan.
Yep.
So that's a second really good question to ask. One of the third questions to ask is, what's your seller's time frame to close? I know Lisa kind of hinted to it in the first question, but it kind of just gives an idea of, hey, do they have to sell to buy? Do they need to kind of rent back? I know that's post-occupancy is kind of real big right now. You're seeing a lot of that. What is one of the reasons why you'd like to ask that question about just the seller's time frame?
So again, because if you're going to write the offer, you want it to be advantageous to your buyer and to the seller, so that both, can win. Maybe the buyer needs to be out within a certain time and the seller needs to be out past that. It might not work. So, just knowing all those details will help you strategize a great offer for both the buyer and the seller.
Yep. And then the fourth question I like to ask, and a lot of times when I call the listing agent, I'll have my phone on speaker while we're at a showing, because I want the client that I'm out here working with to also hear the questions that a listing agent is answering. So, I don't want a client to ever think that I'm just trying to drive them up and just aggressively offer over asking just for the sake of offering over asking and building the ticket, because I don't really care about that. We're thinking long term, but the reality is in a lot of markets across the country, there's very high demand, very low inventory. So in a lot of price points and a lot of, desirable areas, you're going to see a lot of competition, and that's very normal, right? So sometimes you're going up against, a lot of other offers, right? So I want to call the listing agent and ask them, hey, so do you guys currently have any offers in hand? And if so, how many? So if they have 4 offers in hand or 7 offers in hand, I want them to kind of hear that. I want my buyer to hear that, because I also want them to see we're up against other offers.
Yeah.
If you really want this house, well, we're going to have to come with our best foot forward, so you're going to have to come in strong. You're going to have to come in fast. If, and we need to work together to structure a good offer to make your offer stand out and be appealing against all the other offers we're in. So I think that's a little strategy and tip that I think will kind of help you. That gives the buyers context that they're up against other offers, and they're going to have to be competitive if they want to try to win that offer, versus them just thinking that I'm just trying to drive, the ticket of the sale up. So anything that you want to add on that?
No, I would say, asking how many offers are in hand, because, if you're up against, like you said, you got to be honest with your buyers. You got to do what's in their best interest. And, if you're up against a lot of them, maybe they may, like you said, they may think that you're trying to, get them to offer high just because of it's your own best interest. But if they hear the context, they hear that you're calling the realtor, or they know that you called the realtor and you asked how many, then they can be more realistic in their decision, and in their decision making ultimately of what they want to offer.
And guys, the last question that we like to ask listing agents before writing an offer is, hey, so how soon do you guys plan on presenting offers? Sometimes they'll have in the private remarks that they're not presenting offers until 48 hours after, or they're presenting as they go. And that kind of lets you know how fast you guys have to make a decision, go back, put together an offer, things like that. Me personally, if they're not specifying how long and our buyer is really interested, I personally like to come in strong, like to come in fast, and a short binding acceptance window. Me personally, right? So that way we're not giving the sellers too long to kind of think and entertain other potential offers that might come in over the next few days. I'm not going to give the seller, if they're not asking for it, I'm not going to give them 3 days to think about it.
And even if they're saying, we're not going to present offers until, let's just say today's Friday, we're not presenting offers until Monday, get your offer in right away, because you never know, you might just be that best offer. And the sellers may say, you know what, this is the best offer we have. We're not waiting. This is exactly
better is an offer in hand.
Yeah, we've been looking. This is what we've been wanting. We have it. Let's go. So if you wait, maybe your offer, if you wait, until Monday to get your offer, and we'll wait, we have until Monday anyway, you could lose out, and maybe your offer would have been the best offer.
Sure.
So you just want to make sure, you're getting that offer in right away. Maybe you do push it where you give a shorter binding.
Try to force their hand to make a decision a little bit sooner.
Yep.
So we hope this video was helpful. On the next video, we'll be talking about some offer strategies on how to, maybe different options you can use to assemble a competitive offer. So once again, 5 questions to ask a listing agent before you consider writing an offer for your buyer. Take care, guys.